Hey, Nico, what's up, man? Super Retro Pie, all the regulars. This is what I missed. Missed catching up with you guys and seeing what's going on. Didn't know if anybody'd be around tonight or not. It's been a while. I've had all kinds of like technical difficulties here tonight. MC Murr in the house. Yeah, SNK Fight Fan. That's for you, Chris. Yeah, I've had all kinds of technical difficulties with the chat, and it's like if you don't do this for a while and you update like OBS and everything else, then you're just kind of setting yourself up for failure when you pick up a month later. I was working on Terminator tonight. I was like, so just out of like pure honesty, like the webcam that I have like really sucks. So I try to keep that window of me relatively small. And I was like, well, this is kind of interesting. So I'm working on the guns for Terminator 2 right now. Yeah, the chat really sucks, Mur. It's just I almost thought I was gonna have to like just not do this tonight because I had all kinds of problems with it. Alex, what's up? Good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. New to the videos, nice. Yeah, so this one's almost done for the most part. You can kind of see these are, well, maybe you can't see. But I was kind of explaining, I was looking for like a prop to have on the stream tonight because nobody needs to see my face, especially on the shitty webcam that I have large. So I was like, all right, well, we'll show this gun off a little bit. But yeah, I was working on that. You've got these security screws out. There's a few other things on here. And I think you guys probably saw on Twitter, I did replace this grenade button, so that's up and working. I did wire this back up to the cabinet not too long ago, and gave it a test run, and it's working pretty well. Trigger, new micro switch there, so yeah, this is looking pretty good. I got maybe I can kind of see what my camera looks like here. But yeah, you've got these pots on the gun that kind of take the readings and send the signal out. They're getting a little worn, but man, these are like $4. These replacements from AliExpress. So I'll probably hook those up. But yeah, everything's going pretty well. Yeah, I mean, basically did rip this out of like a Terminator's hand. Yeah, I actually, believe it or not, Echo, I did get, I got one haircut, but I didn't really, they just kind of trimmed it up. I'm like, well, I'm not really out and doing much. It's like, now's the time to kind of see what your head can do, right? So, I think the interesting thing, I was telling Murr about this, the thing that I didn't realize about Terminator, I don't know why it didn't occur to me, but so this thing mounts, right? It's a mounted gun. Like this whole base thing here just kind of sits and bolts onto the control panel. It's not actually a light gun, and I don't know why that didn't occur to me before. But yeah, it's not. See, like this is just plastic. This thing here, it's all closed off. This isn't a light gun, so the machine reads what direction you're pointing this by, let's see if I can get a, you can, yeah, there, you can kind of see the gear. So like that's moving, and then there's a pot in here that reads that and sends a signal back. So it's not actually a light gun. It's a, yeah, it's just kind of a mounted, mounted machine gun, but yeah, a lot of the older games work that way. I don't know why. I just never realized that about Terminator. Just, I mean, it makes sense because you're not like picking the gun up and running around with it, but yeah. Back in the chat here. Yeah. I mean, yeah, right, Mur? Like, I don't know why that wasn't more obvious, but a lot of games back, like Operation Wolf, same thing. Like, a lot of games just worked that way back in the day. I mean, even Revolution X, which is another Midway game, I think it came out like about a year or two after Terminator, same thing, mounted machine gun. And I think that kind of got a bad rap because people were saying like, oh, stuff like Virtua Cop's coming out, and you can pick up and free wield the guns, Lethal Enforcers, all that kind of stuff was starting to hit in the arcades, and this was kind of seen like old technology, I guess, but it works. It's pretty cool, and the recoil for anybody that's actually played this is pretty badass. I like it. Yeah, mechanized attack is definitely the same way, Mer. For sure. Yeah, it probably operates the same. I was showing these. I don't know if anybody actually saw them the first time I flashed them up, but yeah, these pots that just go in there, they wire in and send the signal out, which is it's not bad. Pretty much Google anything and fix it. I mean, the internet's a wealth of information if you're looking up part numbers. Super Dimensional, what's up, man? Another longtime friend of the channel and social media. I saw your post the other day of your game room. That's a hell of a lot of robots you have, Super Dimensional. Yeah, Beastbuster's Second Nightmare, same thing, man. Yeah, you're right. Mounted machine guns. It's a pretty cool game. I've talked about Beastmasters on this channel before. That's still like one of my big arcade regrets. There's one of those locally to me. It was $300. I just had nowhere to put it. But it, as an SNK fan, that killed me because that's a cool game. It's a cool thing to have for anybody who likes arcades and SNK. But yeah, it just didn't happen. Yeah, there's Inkling, Alien 3 on Sega. So yeah, I've seen that. There's an auction happening. Where is that? I want to say it's in Kansas, and they have an Alien machine up for auction right now. It's pretty cool. Hey Kabir, how are you, man? Good to see you. I don't know how many people did their Seimitsu Eyes mod to the Arcade Stick Pro. It's funny you bring that up. I mean, I kind of have a little bit of an idea because I get so many emails or DMs about like replacing parts and stuff, and I feel bad because I can't always get to everybody. I can't always, respond and be a help desk for everybody that's like trying to sub out parts and stuff. But yeah, I can guess by the number of interactions and emails that video has generated that people are still working on that. Oh, the awaited room tour. Like, yeah, I went through the basement. Yeah, Soul Man, what's going on? Yeah, I need to actually do a room tour of my actual room that I'm playing games in. It's kind of a mess right now, to be honest with you. I got to clean it up before I take a camera through there. But Super Dimensional's got a nice clean setup right now. Alien 3 resets if you put the gun in too far out. That's interesting. It's like the whole board resets. It's almost like sometimes that stuff happens when it's not grounded. So you may want to check that. Let me see if I can pull up. I need to flip back where I can actually see my screen. So like on the bottom of Terminator, you got this green wire. I think you can. Yeah, you guys can see that. But like that's gotta go down on something, or you gotta take a screw like this and kind of put that back down, or else that kind of stuff happens. It's a fun story. I don't know if Lily's watching or in the chat, but I shut down the whole house, the power to the whole house, working on Daytona because one of the lights in the marquee wasn't grounded. I mean, I didn't know that. I had just gotten the machine and was working on it, and I flipped the switch, looked like everything was working, and yep, and the house is in darkness. Yellow and Black, what's going on? Tour. I know, man. I gotta do that. You guys might be underwhelmed, quite honestly, by the actual. I don't know. I've been selling a lot of stuff lately. As far as I mean, I sold the Switch. You guys know that. I sold an N64 recently. Some of my games and stuff I've been unloading just because you know, if they're not childhood things or they're taking up space or whatever. So I don't know, like the Neo Geo stuff is still up there. That's not going anywhere. That's my go-to these days. But yeah, I mean, I'll probably do that. It's actually an easy video to do, and you guys know I really have not had time to be doing videos lately, which is partly why I thought it'd be exciting to stop in and do this tonight. Do a live tour now. I got all this like crap set up. Like I spent so much time just taking this upstairs right now and dragging this through the house. I would be afraid as to what would happen. How is the Mister? Yeah, I got the Mister. That is another that's another endeavor. I did get it set up, which was working out pretty well. Yeah, I got I think on Black Friday I got a 256 gigabyte card for that, and then formatted. I'm still learning a lot about that. I do want to do a video obviously about that and talk a little bit about, actually from a beginner standpoint, it's really not that scary. It's, you know, just wiring it up and everything, and then prepping it. If you've done a RetroPie before, I'm pretty confident you could set up a Mister. And the cool thing about it, honestly, is that once you have the Wi-Fi set up on Mister, like it'll pull and grab new cores and stuff as they come out. There's like an update all feature, and it just rips through everything and adds it for you, which is awesome. So like when Contra came out for Mister, what was that, last week or maybe 2 weeks ago, all I did was run the update script on the Mister, and then Contra was there on it ready to go, which is, that's pretty sweet. You don't have to worry about anything. Yeah, you just move, trying to figure out what stays and what goes. It's tough. I mean, I'm getting to the point where I'm not playing stuff, and like if I'm not playing it or I haven't touched it in a year, then like what am I doing with it? If it has no nostalgic value, I'm not playing it. I don't foresee myself playing it. And there's some value in unloading it, because that's the other thing. I think you guys, I mean, especially you guys here in the US probably know, postal rates are got raised again. So selling stuff that's relatively, you know, cheap, then you pay shipping, and then you got, you know, if you're selling it on eBay or whatever, you got PayPal fees, you got eBay fees. Like, is it really worth it? But there are games obviously that it'll for sure be worth your time to unload if you're not playing them. I bought your Alien 3 for $100 on eBay. That's awesome. That's the kind of stuff I love to hear and see. A good deal on because that's one of the things I talk about this all the time on here too. Like people come back and say like arcade machines cost thousands of dollars, and really, you know, somebody just commented on the arcade basement tour that I did and said about like all the, you know, money and thousands of dollars you have tied up in all this. And yeah, I mean, most of those machines were had for less than the cost of a modern console, but it's just about patience and waiting and scouting and seeing what you can find. Actually, that's did I ever play Initial D? That kind of caught me off guard. There's actually an Initial D, speaking of auctions, there's one of those up for sale, and cheap arcades. I think it was like $600 for a pretty good looking Initial D setup. It sold for $600. Again, you got to have the room somewhere to put that. I get it, but that's pretty cheap, and it worked. But yeah, as far I've never actually played Initial D like on a cabinet, so that's my loss. Yeah, rates and shipping definitely suck right now. So yeah, speaking of arcades and finding them cheaply, I think if Murr's still in the chat, he knows this story, because I was sending him pictures of this. Somebody locally to me listed a Miss Pac-Man game. So that was the title of the marketplace listing was Ms. Pac-Man game. That could be anything. That could, I mean, it could be an Atari cartridge, right? So, but it's about patience and scouting. And so this Ms. Pac-Man game, you know, when I loaded it up and looked at it, it was Ms. Pac-Man loaded into a Capcom Impress candy cab, and it was like 20 minutes from me, and the listing price was $500, which, I mean, anybody that's on the East Coast, a candy cab on the East Coast for $500 that works is unheard of. I don't know that she knows like what it is. I suspect somebody told her what it was, because it was, I messaged her an hour after she listed it, and she never even responded to my message. So I tried to get it, but it was already gone, I guess, and it was sold in less than 24, marked as sold in less than 24 hours. But that's a hell of a find. A $500 Capcom Impress candy cab, 20 minutes from your house. Doesn't happen on the East Coast. I know you guys in California and other parts of the world probably see candy cabs more frequently than that, but yeah, it's cool. You just gotta keep your eyes open. Oh, you can't get Wi-Fi to work on your Mister. I looked and grabbed, oh boy, there was a plug and play Wi-Fi, USB Wi-Fi dongle that one of the FAQs listed as it was plug and play, and I think it was only like $10, and I got it and plugged it in, and I wish I could tell you more, but that's really the only magic that I had was I bought a $10 thing that was plug and play and shoved it in there, and it worked. But yeah. Oh yeah, saving leftover funds. The Astro City Mini, that comes out really soon, right? Like, is that next week? I want to say that's definitely this month. Might be next week. The only reason I'm sticking to the Japanese version was Sega Mega Drive Mini, so the Western is because of, oh yeah, Musha, yep. Yeah, I definitely like the Sega stuff. I mean, the Astro City Mini is something that I pre-ordered that too. And I don't know, like, again, it's funny, we're talking about stuff that you don't need and stuff that you're selling and unloading, and I definitely don't need that, but yeah, I mean, it's an arcade, it's Sega. It's definitely going to be something that interests me. Oh, so now Kabir, you're asking the big question. Have I used the Mister on a candy cab? Was thinking of doing that once I get a proper candy cab. So it's funny you mentioned that. I don't want to let the cat out of the bag, but I kind of will, since he's already kind of talking about it. You guys know that the Mister Cade, or I think that's what he's calling it, Pork Chop Express on Twitter. I've been in a Discord where they're developing a JAMA adapter for the Mister. Not me. I'm watching people that are far more intelligent and likely have degrees in electrical engineering do this, testing it and going back and forth. But it's really cool, and it's the first round of test PCBs are out right now, and some of those guys have them and are working on them. And Porkchop messaged me, I would say it was yesterday or 2 days ago, and he's going to send me the JAMA adapter for Mister in round 2 of testing. And I told him, like, 100%, like, you've got really intelligent guys from the community working on it. Don't waste one of the first units on me, because I'm going to be able to give you real life feedback and work through some things, but from an electrical engineering standpoint, I'm not going to be able to help you out too much. So, but anyways, all that to say, it's coming. When I get that, I'll definitely plug the Mister into the Astro City. I'll do a quick video on that and show you guys what that looks like. That's really what probably interested me about the Mister the most, was having hardware replication available for arcade machines. So I think that's really cool. It's it's exciting to think about where that could be 2, 3, 5 years from now. Especially PCBs in general are just so fragile these days, and they're expensive to get repaired. I've been fortunate in that I've been able to do some dummy work and fix a few of my own. that I've gotten cheap. Turtles I was able to repair on my own. Sometimes if you're lucky, it's a crystal swap, or capacitors you can swap in and out. If you're really lucky, it's just a fuse here and there, and you hear that all the time. It's probably just a fuse. But yeah, with boards like that becoming more expensive and harder to replace, repair, having something that gives you a genuine experience, although not original hardware, but is replicating original hardware that plugs into those machines, that's going to become more and more critical, the farther along we get here, as far as the age of those boards and stuff. I'm really excited for it. Yeah, I'm hyped. I'm on Mr. now. Like I'll tell you, from a video creation standpoint, like I'm not above cheating here anymore. Like a lot of the videos I've done in the past, I've actually plugged the Neo Geo cartridges into my MVS, and I've done capture and grab video and streams like that. But having the Mister right there to output 1080p and do captures if I'm talking about something, it's so much faster and so much easier than swapping carts and hooking up, the scaler, the RetroTink 2X, which is awesome, not taking anything away from that. But, just from sheer convenience, and HDMI out from anything is a lot easier than dealing with scalers and all kinds of analog connections. Ooh, modding your Game & Watch to play Grand Theft Auto online. Nice. Yeah, the Mister, the Mister is not cheap. That's really what kind of kept me from getting one for a while there. It was, I priced that all out, and it was just hundreds of dollars for that. It's for sure a really cool device. It's nice that it's in ongoing development. You see Porkchop on Twitter always kind of trolling the analog guys by saying like, yeah, we got that core, we've been playing that, that kind of for the Game Boy Advance stuff and a lot of those pocket cores. But yeah, it's not cheap, but sometimes you pay for what you get, and yeah, I mean it'll be cool to put that into an actual machine. That was kind of what I was waiting for. I was waiting for that to drop. So Media Glitch, what's up? Look at that. Check out Media Glitch. Speaking of Media Glitch, and you got MC Mur, another two channels that you should check out on YouTube for sure. It's good to see Media Glitch up. I saw you guys had snow the other day. Media Glitch. You guys were getting ready to film, and you guys are standing out there in the cold. Yeah, I've actually been watching the Game & Watch stuff. I saw a video the other day. Somebody had modded the Game & Watch to play Contra, a few other games too. It's not as easy as the NES Classic, though. It looks like the USB port is not connected to anything other than the battery in the Game & Watch. I think that's right. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. Just call it out. But I'm pretty sure it's not connected to anything. So you're not going to just be able to run something and plug that into a computer and switch out games. It's going to be a little bit more involved in that to switch things out. But there's obviously somebody's already figured that out and how to flash new games into the memory, which is pretty cool. True Sinister, hey man, good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for dropping that like on the live stream too. Snow, like the white Jamaican rapper. He's actually Canadian, isn't he? I'm pretty sure Snow's Canadian. But I think I know what you're saying. Snow in the desert. Yeah, I don't want to get this wrong. I think you're in New Mexico, right? Media Glitch. And I know you're a film director for your full-time job. I mean, you can look at the production quality of your videos and kind of tell that you kind of know what you're doing. Yeah, you put out some good stuff. Informer. Ah, man, that takes me back too. You can talk about the 90s. Snow. I saw he was, boy, I'm gonna really just, this is how out of touch with like modern music I am. he was featured in a song recently, right? I don't think it was like a remake of Informer, but he did do something recently with somebody that's fairly popular, I think. Yeah, Albuquerque, nice. I've never been to New Mexico. I've not seen much of the southwest of the states at all, really. Any console I'm still looking to get or collect for. Yeah, I mean, from a console perspective, probably not. I usually tend to get hardware and not unload hardware, and of course we opened up the stream talking about selling off the Switch and then selling off an N64 recently, but I typically don't unload hardware very often. I just keep that, and games might come and go, but yeah, I don't know. From a console perspective, there's nothing that's really that's high on my list. I kind of wanted a Vectrix for a while anyway, but yeah, it just didn't happen, and now they're too expensive. I'm not going to buy a Vectrix. Hemsimer, I love how honest you are. You're like, yeah, went to New Mexico, smoked a lot of weed. Did you do anything fun? Like that's what I so funny. Yeah, there's you're talking about consoles and games. I do have a few Wii U games I still want to get. That's probably a little bit further down the line. And I was talking to Pabst. I haven't seen him in the chat. He's a longtime subscriber of the channel. I was talking to him last week, I think it was. I think I want to put together, or finish, I should say, my SNK NES collection. There's a couple games I still need. I have complete in box copies of like Akari Warriors, Lee Trevino's Fighting Golf, for all you fans out there, and a couple other. I'm missing, what's the other one? Little League Baseball. I don't have that. Touchdown Fever, and Gorilla. I don't think I have that one either. I'd have to go back and look, but I was trying to put together a SNK complete in box NES set, but maybe 2021. I don't think any of those games are particularly expensive. You went to a couple art exhibits. Did you smoke the dope and then go to the art exhibits, or did you do it while you were there? Yeah, the NES is really just kind of there's few things that are more classic than the NES for, I think, most of us. So that's not something I'd ever look to get rid of or shed cartridges from. Super Dimensional mentioning I don't know why Akari Warriors gets a pretty. Let's just stop. The theme music for Akari Warriors is brutal, like especially if you've been listening to it for more than 10 minutes. But I played a lot of that game too, and it was a good co-op game, and you could just kind of plow through it, arcade-like, ABBA, right, to bring your guy back and keep going through everything. It's not a very deep game, but definitely one you can waste an afternoon playing with your friend. I liked Akari Warriors. I know it gets a lot of crap now, but I thought it was cool in the day. Yeah, Athena. I do have Athena as well, Inkling. I've got that one, and Crystallis too. I have both of those. Guerrilla War, Touchdown Fever, and the Little League Baseball game are, I think, the ones that I'm missing. Oh wow, so that's a big question. If you want an arcade machine that plays all emulation, MAME everything, yeah, it's so tough because I think if you can find a machine like that somebody has done, if they've gutted like a cab that was bad, or had a broken board, and they just maimed the thing out, and you buy it from somebody locally, it's probably not going to cost you that much. Depends, I guess, but Yeah, if you look online and try to buy that type of setup, like all cleaned up, you know, somebody's done like a reproduction. I mean, that's when things start getting, you know, you get gouged. That's when it's like $1,200, $1,500, depending on what. And it's just, yeah, it's, you know, it's clean and you're paying for the person's time to have done that. But yeah, I mean, you could definitely get it for under $1,000 if you, I mean, and again, you're New Mexico, I'm talking East Coast here, but and it's weird because people try to gouge on that, and that's funny because like collectors and people that are like hardcore they're kind of like passing on that all the time. Like as soon as you see like, oh, it plays 1,000 games, like collectors are like, it's, you know, it's not for me. It's not a real machine at this point. But they are selling, and they are selling to people who kind of want that all-in-one, and then the price just goes up because even though there's nothing really collectible in it, the demand is there for that type of machine. So you could probably get it for under $1,000 if you're lucky and you find somebody locally that's doing it or has done the work themselves and is just looking to pass the machine on. But yeah, if you try to get that from a vendor or distributor, you're looking at $1,200-$1,500. I could almost guarantee it. I see those things all the time. Oh, Heavy Barrel, that's another good one. I forgot about that. Thanks for calling that out, Super D. Yeah, YouTube punks calling, 2 to 3K. I've seen that. 3K's, I mean, you're not wrong. I have seen that, but it's just outrageous. I wouldn't pay more than $1,500 for a cab that was, and it would have to be clean. You know, if I were in your position and I wanted an all-in-one, I definitely would not pay more than $1,500 for that. But yeah, it's kind of all about availability in your area and your market. Yeah, they're for sure a space saver, 100%. I would agree with that. And you know, some of the emulation, it's not bad. You know, I've fooled around with Pandora's Box before. I've fooled around with, I had a Pi-Cade at one point. I don't have it any longer, but some of that stuff can actually be, you know, fairly decent, or definitely like good enough if you're just looking for a quick fix, and you want that all in one, and you can get by on it. But a lot of those parts just they're not that expensive. It's more somebody just charging you for their time and rehabbing the actual cabinet and putting whatever side art they did. You know, hopefully they cleaned the whole thing up, sanded it down, and you know, maybe restained it and put, you know, maybe they laminated the sides and put new side art on it, changed out marquee, all that kind of, like, you know, control panel overlay, rehab, powder coat the coin doors, all that kind of stuff. If they've done all that work, then for sure, like, I get it. Like, I get why they're charging for their time and effort and everything. But you could find somebody that maybe just gutted like a old Dynamo cab, and maybe it's not as pretty, but it's running, you know, a Pandora's Box or something, and you might be able to get that for under $1,000. See you, YouTube. Oh, the Capcom Big Blue. I love the Capcom Big Blue. That might be my favorite purchase of the year, honestly. I mean, that's pretty. I love that machine, and I love the CPS2 stuff that's in it. Someone was giving me a hard time about that on in the comments. They were like, "Don't put a CPS2 in the Big Blue. That's garbage." And I'm like, "What? What? CPS2 library is great. I don't know." The person kind of descended into like what a mess Capcom has become, and CPS2 was the beginning of the end of Capcom. And look, I love the CPS1 games. You know, the World Warrior, CPS 1.5, right? I guess the sound add-on with the Q sound for some of those games before they switched their hardware. Final Fight, like I like those games too, but to say that CPS2 was like the beginning of the end of Capcom, I don't know, like that. I think the sprites were awesome, the games were awesome, like Mars Matrix, you got Alien versus Predator, you know, just, I mean, obviously all the Street Fighter games, Darkstalkers, there's tons of great CPS2 games. What's your favorite arcade cabinet, and do you own it? Oh, that's a tough one. You know, I would. This might disappoint a lot of people. I would say. I would probably say that my favorite arcade cabinet of all time was Midway's Open Ice. It's a hockey game, and it's a 4-player game. It's Midway's NBA. It's Midway's hockey version of NBA Jam. I've talked about this before. I have the original board for Open Ice, and it's actually right behind me. So I can play that today, but the cabinet itself I don't have. It's a 4-player Midway cabinet. I do have a 4-player Sports Station cabinet, play Showtime, Blitz on that, which is awesome. But that's probably I have a lot of good memories playing that game back in the day in the arcade and playing with friends in high school. So that's probably the one I think about the most. I don't have that. I don't know if I'll ever get that either. I mean, I can play the game. Look, if I found it and it was cheap enough, I'd probably grab it. Hope Lily's probably not in the chat, I hope. So yeah, but yeah, the Open Ice is probably the one that still stands out in my mind. I still would like to get that, but I don't know. I don't need it, right? What else we have on here? Yeah, CPS2 games are amazing. Which cab is my holy grail? I think Time Traveler. I've talked about that on here before too. And that's a game that's really tough because it's not a fun game to play, right? It's more of like your Dragon's Lair type thing. But I remember it was like $1 to play back in the day at Hershey Park, and I liked the whole technology. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you can probably just Google it. But it's a Sega cabinet. It's white, sits pretty low. It's like probably waist high. Has this mirror. It's not a true hologram projection. It's basically just like a projection. It's got like a mirror that sits, and it bounces the image off of it, and it looks like the characters are floating, but it's like a live action thing. It's actually a pretty terrible game, to be honest, but the cabinet itself is kind of, would be like a centerpiece for an arcade. It's really cool. Just the way it glows, and those images kind of glow off of the glass. I love all of that. They're expensive. I would never pay, I talked to a guy in Texas that had one briefly, and he had sold it for almost 10 grand to a place that was opening down there. And they used it for exactly what I just said. They put it at the front of somebody came in the door, that was the first machine that was there. And it's not a great game, but that's probably my grail. Like if I found it cheap, or, somebody wanted to get rid of it or whatever, I'd definitely take it, because I have, kind of like how people look back more fondly on Dragon's Lair than maybe it deserves, because it was more about the technology and the experience as opposed to the game. I kind of feel that way about Time Traveler. Have I put any time into the STV library? I haven't put much time into anything lately. That's why I haven't done any videos, and why I felt, like I really wanted to get back into YouTube and stuff, and I felt like I really wanted to stream and do something, because I've had so many things to do with my real job lately. I really have not played the STV all that much lately. Oh yeah, I mean, those are Media Glitch, Killer Instinct, and Rastin. Yeah, oh my gosh, yeah, Killer Instinct we had at college. That was in the basement of the one building that we at my college in Southampton, and it was the only machine that was down there, and we played that pretty frequently. I really like Killer Instinct too. Yeah, Dave Ryan, the hair's grown in nice. I know. I pretty much gotta shave this beard this weekend. Yeah, $10,000 for Time Traveler. Yeah, so that's probably like. I also really like. Again, it's not necessarily a great game, but I always liked Mad Dog McCree, and I'm just kind of dating myself as far as like the era where I was, old enough to take myself to the arcade and stuff, and that was the kind of stuff that was coming out. But it was cool because you're thinking, like, you're watching, like, Sega was like trying a lot of stuff with the Time Traveler, like that reverse projection thing going on, trying to do like actual live action video games. So you're kind of scratching your head. You're like, is that the next thing? Like, are we gonna is somebody gonna perfect that? And then you're seeing all the Virtua stuff come out, like Virtua Racing when that hit, and all the polygons and that switch to 3D. Mad Dog McCree took the live action thing and like put it to a light gun game. So it was interesting from that perspective, in that you're wondering, where does gaming go? Because you kind of have all these like things, and really, you know, I guess in some respects, looking back on it, it was trying to save the arcade in some ways, because that was really the beginning, I guess, of the end. And I was reading Rayan Ali's NBA Jam, the book, which is a good book. You guys should check it out. He's also a really good person. But I was reading his book on NBA Jam, and in that book, when he was doing an interview with somebody from Midway, and I'm forgetting who it was, but they said when Virtua Fighter, Virtua Racing, and polygons hit the arcade, it was the beginning of the end. And that's always like, I never thought of it that way. I always looked fondly on that because I really liked Virtua Fighter, and I thought that was like the first game that could really like steal me away from Street Fighter. I was like, you know, Mortal Kombat was cool, you know, but I never really attached to it the way I did Street Fighter. But then Virtua Fighter, I was mesmerized by that. But I've always looked fondly on that era of you know, the Sega Virtua series, and I have some of those games in the basement, and because I look fondly. But then reading that, I was like, boy, that's such a glass half empty statement to make, but damn it, he's right. That was the beginning of the end. That was the beginning of the end of the arcade. Oh, Media. I didn't realize you have an original Killer Instinct machine. That's awesome. I don't know this because I don't know have a Killer Instinct board or machine, but is the wiring the same for Killer Instinct and Killer Instinct 2? Like, could you put? I'm assuming you. I mean, there's definitely a way to do it, but I'm wondering if they're like interchangeable. I want to say I've read something where certain Killer Instinct boards you can upgrade like yourself by like flashing chips to Killer Instinct 2, but not all of them. And I do think I want to say Killer Instinct 2 boards you can reverse back to Killer Instinct, but again, I don't have one to know that for a fact. I'm just basing this off of things I think I've read. But if you had both boards, I'm sure you could figure out a way to wire those both up inside. That'd be a cool cabinet. You want to get a Sega Airlines for your wife. That would be that you need. I mean, build another garage for that. That thing's huge. Mad Dog. I do like Mad Dog though. Like, I know it's kind of cheesy. I played on the Wii U now, but it's not quite the same. But at least, you know, I got a way of playing it. Oh, look at that. Media Glitch coming through with trivia for the stream tonight. Mad Dog McCree was filmed in Albuquerque and Santa Fe. How about that? I've not heard of Capcom Arcade Stadium on the Switch. I'm not sure what that is. Yeah, it's interesting. A lot of people seem to pan Killer Instinct 2, and I will admit that I never played it that much, which maybe that says something about the game, but I don't really remember it all that much. Killer Instinct 2, that is. So, Shibby Bear. I'm trying to read your comment here. They did some cool things with multi-CRT screens back in the day. Games like Darius and Minis, Ninja Warriors. I'm not totally sure of. I mean, I'm not doubting you by any stretch. I'll have to look that up. I'm not aware. What are my favorite YouTube arcade channels? That's funny. I do watch Delusional's Arcade from time to time, and he's a pretty good guy. He does a lot of cool stuff. I watch obviously John's Arcade. I watch him. I know he took a little bit of a break. I think he might be back now. At least he indicated he might be coming back. But yeah, I watch those two. Usually, you know, I don't have a lot of time. I feel bad about this. I don't watch a lot of YouTube, which sounds strange. I just don't have the time, and it's so hard to find time to like do stuff, play games, work on videos, film, have a personal life, and then and then also like your real job. I don't watch a lot of YouTube, at least not this past year anyway. Am I playing any modern games? No. I don't. The most modern console that I have in the house is the Wii U. So I don't have. No, I'm not playing anything modern. I mean, I got the PC obviously, but I don't really game much on the PC. I'm probably not buying the PS5 or the new Xbox. I don't have an Xbox One. I don't have a PS4. Don't have a PS3. I do have an Xbox 360 that I haven't hooked up in a while, but I don't know. I've lost a little bit of interest in modern gaming, and that's not you know, anything against modern gaming. It's just personally, I've lost a little bit of interest. That's cool. So all of the Capcom arcade games are going to be released in a pack for Switch for free. That's pretty cool. That's cool. That's cool trivia, Shibby Bear. I don't think I mean, I'm aware of like some of like X-Men, like how they would set up like the CRTs and stuff like that back in the day for some of those big cabs that would like had that pseudo, well, that wasn't really pseudo, I guess. It was widescreen, but it was multiple CRTs kind of lined up. But that's cool. I don't think I realized, you know, how they you know, as you're saying with Ninja Warriors. I'm not sure I realized that. I'll have to look that up. Hey, Media Glitch, thanks for stopping by, man. It's good seeing you. I really appreciate the love. You know, try to keep the snow off you in New Mexico. Kawika, what's up? Good to see you, man. Oh, Oculus Quest 2. Yeah, there's a lot of piqued interest, I think, in that technology more recently, and I think the more powerful, obviously, those home consoles become, the more interest you're going to see around that. And I've yet to actually, I mean, no surprise to you guys because I just got done telling you I don't have any real modern systems, but I've not really experienced like any of the PlayStation VR or Oculus Rift. I've not done anything like that I mean, I did it. There's a con that I did a virtual reality thing at. That was years ago. The new Star Wars thing is pretty good, right? Like I think I've seen things about that. I mean, I try to pay attention. I feel like such an old man even asking that. Like I'm just so out of touch with some of the stuff that's going on. Yeah, I know there's a lot of, I see Inkling saying he doesn't want to get the PS5 or Xbox Series X. I know there's a lot of people still feeling like there's a lot of life left in the PS4 and the previous generation consoles. Whether or not that's true, I don't know. There seems to be a ongoing battle right now on Twitter and other social media about Cyberpunk coming out and the way that runs on one system versus the other, but I don't know too much about that. I'd be interested in seeing that game. I should probably watch, just talking about not watching YouTube videos, I should probably look at a stream or something that somebody does, because that game looked cool. No, I don't own a Time Crisis machine. That's actually another one that got away. There was a Time Crisis, was it a Time Crisis 4? I'm pretty sure it was a 4, that a local miniature golf place had, and they had it up for sale for like $500. He didn't have pictures of it working, which concerned me. So I asked if I could stop out and take a look at it, and because I think he was only asking like $500 for it for a dual setup, which is really cool. And so he's like, yeah, it works. You can come out and see it. And so then I scheduled a time to go out to the mini golf place to look at it. And then the day I was supposed to go out there, this is like 2 years ago. The day I was supposed to go out, he was actually nice enough to text me and say, yeah, somebody just pulled up with a flatbed truck and loaded it up. I missed out on that. I probably do not need a Time Crisis 2 machine. That's a pretty big machine. Or Time Crisis 4, I'm sorry. Oh, Super Retro. You got Cyberpunk? Yeah. What system are you playing Cyberpunk on? Super RetroPie. Kind of curious. Who else in the chat has like a modern console? I'm always curious about that. Like who owns a PS5 or Xbox Series X? Like, did you guys buy those? I'm not that interested in the consoles, but I'm always interested in the people who watch or watch the channel here. Are they interested in multiple things? Golden Axe is a pretty good game. Okay, Xbox One X for Super RetroPie. Yeah, I'm lost when it comes to modern gaming too. Like I feel like Breath of the Wild 2 comes out. I definitely will probably want to play that. I'm not gonna lie. I definitely will want to play that. But for the most part, right now, I'm watching stuff kind of trickle out from Nintendo and all the PlayStation. I'm really behind on the PlayStation and Xbox stuff. Like I played Gears of War for a while on 360, like whatever that ended at on 360. I played Far Cry. I liked that. I think it was Far Cry 2 was probably the last one I played though. I don't even know. That's probably, what are they at? Like 5 now probably for that series. What I got tired of was that just constant sequels to stuff. I just kind of like, and I know why that's done. It's a big market and there's money to be made on that and keeping a franchise going and whatnot. But I just got worn on it. It wasn't like Assassin's Creed was another thing. I just like, wow, how do I just don't need another Assassin's Creed game. Call of Duty. I saw a news article that the amount of revenue that series has generated. And I was like, wow, they're still making Call of Duty games? Like, I can't even believe that. But obviously there's a market for it. I just wasn't the audience, I guess, at a certain point and checked out on it. And then, yeah, I just went back to Nintendo with the Wii U. A lot of good first-party titles for the Wii U that Nintendo cranked out. And but yeah. Switch, Soul Man, yeah, the Switch is interesting because I feel like the Switch is like Nintendo almost very purposely marketed that thing towards retro gaming in some ways. Like obviously they're cranking out, they cranked out the Wii U's library for it, but then they're also making other games for the Switch. But then it's like this gateway to Super NES, NES titles, right? They put all that stuff on there. You have access to the eShop, and there's all kinds of retro console games available for the Switch, and it's easily accessible, and it's right and it's portable. So I think Nintendo they knew what they were doing with that. So I definitely can see how somebody that's into old school games loves the Switch. Yeah, Dave Carr calling out the indie games. Yeah, that seems to have been a craze that has picked up in the last like 5 years too. Like just and consoles like the Switch give that a platform that they can really these indie developers can create games and they have somewhere to put them, and they don't have to publish them. They can put them on an eShop and give people access to them. And you're right. There's definitely been a big uptick in the amount of new games that have that retro look to them. I'm trying to think, what was the one that I was playing that was actually pretty decent? And the name is escaping me. I can't even think of what it was. It was on Shovel Knight, right? Like, the name totally escaped me. That was a big one. I mean, that was I think a lot of people played Shovel Knight. Yeah, Cyberpunk has destroyed social media feeds for a while now. All the speculation around that. World of Warcraft, yeah, man, that was a big. There's a lot of people in college that played that like fiends, just couldn't break themselves. World of Warcraft, and my roommate used to play StarCraft. He was a big StarCraft guy. Yeah, Blazing Chrome. You're right. I did see. I did see. Who was that put that out? I was Limited Run Games, right? I know it's digital too, but they had the physical release of that, and that was like pretty expensive. I was like, because I didn't buy it, and then I was like, oh, maybe I'll just get a physical copy and try it out. And then I looked, and they were like outrageously priced on eBay for a copy of Blazing Chrome. Yeah, Axiom Verge. I actually have that for Wii U. That was cranked out, I think, by, was that Limited Run Games did that one too. I do have Axiom Verge. I like that. So yeah, Metal Gear Solid, the original. That was man. I love that game. That was a college era game for me. I played a lot of, well, I played that straight through on a weekend and beat it. That was definitely a moment in time for me. I love Metal Gear Solid. I like the original on NES, and I played a lot of that as a kid. And then knowing that they were trying to jumpstart that series again for PlayStation, I couldn't wait for that game to come out. I do like the old school Konami games. Sunset Riders, obviously Turtles, Cowboys of Moo Mesa, G.I. Joe. I'm a big fan of G.I. Joe. I know a lot of people don't like that, but I had a hell of a good time playing that in the arcade. All right, Chibi Bear, thanks for stopping by, man. Hamstrung Harry, good to see you too. I've not heard of Metamorphic Force by Konami. I don't know that one. I'll have to look that up. Yeah. So yeah, a couple of people I saw have modern consoles. That's just interesting to me from doing what I do, and I know like where I ended up, like I'm just sitting here playing like Mister. Like I'll sit and play Tapper on Mister. Somebody asked me that. They're like, "What was the first game you're gonna play on the arcade if with the Mister?" And I was like, probably Tapper. and it's just I don't know. I would much rather, like, if I get an hour of spare time to actually sit and play games, like I'm gonna fire up something old school like that and play it. That's just where I've been lately. Final Fight meets Altered Beast. That sounds, yeah, I mean, that sounds pretty good. I'd have to check that out. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, Pinball Playfields as wall art. That is really cool. That's a good decorating idea. Yeah, Tapper, it is just it's a very addicting game. Do I have arcade sticks for Mister? So that's an interesting question. So I've been trying to get the Neo Geo AES stick to work on Mister, and I can't get the C button to work. I don't know why. Everything else works. The stick, A, B, and D work. Select and start work. Can't get the C button to work. It doesn't really matter for all games, obviously, but for some, including Neo Geo, it's kind of important. So that's what I've been using. I've also used the TurboGrafx 16 mini controller. It's USB, it plugs right in, and that works great. There's not a lot of issues with that. And I've used the Super NES controller, but the only arcade stick I really have for consoles is the Neo Geo AES stick, and so I was trying to get that to work on Mister. I'm pretty sure I'm going to look at it this weekend. I'm pretty sure I can get it to work. I just haven't spent a lot of time trying to troubleshoot it yet. Yeah, pinballs are expensive. Like they're real expensive. We talk about finding arcade games on the cheap, and just scouting, looking for for deals and things to pop up. It's rare to see a pinball machine pop up that is cheap, or it just doesn't happen that often. You're always kind of paying for those. Now I know he's not in the chat, but Captain Retro does a lot of good picking down in the Georgia area, and he seems to do pretty well with that, at least for me locally here in Pennsylvania. I've never really seen pinball machines pop up that were anywhere close to cheap. Roblox? I've actually heard of, is it Roblox or Roblox? I don't know. I've seen that before. I've seen people talk about it. I've never used it or looked into it, but I have seen that talked about before. Oh man, a sit-down afterburner and outrun. I did see somebody had a video the other day on one of the forums. They got their afterburner. It wasn't the original afterburner. It was what's the follow-up to it called? And it had like the motion seat and car, and the thing like moves. It's really cool. But he got that working. He posted a video of it. But yeah, I know the original afterburner is pretty neat too, and outrun obviously. Okay, you lived in Allentown. Yeah, that's I'm in South Central, like just outside of Harrisburg. So Allentown's not far. Yeah, Afterburner Climax. That's it. You got it. Yeah, I couldn't think of the name of it. Yeah, it's a cool machine. It's a big machine too. Roll that up and put it right next to your 18-wheeler machine and your Darius Burst. Those things are huge. Roblox. Okay, Roblox. That's interesting. Yeah, I've seen people talk about it. I've never looked into seeing like what it actually is. I saw the somebody had the, speaking of big arcade machines, somebody had that ambulance game the other day listed on a marketplace. It was like half of a truck. And I don't even really remember playing that or seeing it, to be honest. It was, I think, it was just I don't know if that was a Sega game or what that was, but it was yeah, it was a big machine. Oh man, yeah. MK3 Ultimate. Yeah, that's a cabinet I wouldn't mind having either. I mean, that's a pretty. I talked a little bit about not being that wooed by Mortal Kombat or Mortal Kombat 2, but I've got the Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 board this past summer. I played a little bit of it before on consoles and stuff, but that's a pretty iconic game in Series 2. I wouldn't mind. That's a great pickup if you got a machine for that. Yeah, in a big dynamo cab. Yeah, play it how it kind of, I mean, that's funny. I mean, that's how it was done. I mean, a lot of people, including myself, you chase like that dedicated machine. Like you want the the midway machine for your Mortal Kombat, or you want the the Capcom Big Blue, right? Like you put your Street Fighter game in that. But I remember going to the arcade a lot of times, and they just would switch out and throw in whatever game they could, and I mean that's how it was done. So it's authentic in its own right. Oh, the Japanese the Japanese train simulator. I did see. It's funny. I didn't know what it was when but yes, I did see somebody had pictures of that up on a forum that I was looking at. That was a while ago, but I've never actually seen it in person or played it, but I know exactly what you're talking about. We're at what are we here? A little over an hour. Losing some people here. This is Friday night, and this is what I get for not doing too much on YouTube lately. But I'll probably wrap up here in the next 5 minutes, guys. But I do love that I just randomly started a live stream, and I see all these names of people that I know and are still around for the channel. I mean, it basically took a month off, like, let's be honest, and I haven't done much. So I appreciate having everybody come in and seeing the familiar names. I got to get to work on a Mr. video. I got a Neo Geo video I'm working on. Got a collaboration video today that I'm gonna work on with somebody else. So there's a lot of stuff coming. It's been hard to work on stuff past my bedtime. I'm probably going to go watch a movie, to be honest with you. I'll probably finish writing some stuff for YouTube, and then I'll check out a movie before bed. Yeah, I appreciate Super. You're always there, Super Retro Pie. You're YouTube, Twitter, you're always there. Yeah, Mr. Start Guide would be cool. I think I'm in a prime position to work on that because of where I'm at. It looked like I took a month off. Thanks, Lily. Appreciate that. Mur's back right before I go. Always on time. Thanks, Mur. Hollywood, how are you? What movie? I think I'm going to watch Rambo 2. I'm not going to lie. I'm just going to throw that. I think that's what I'm watching tonight. I watched First Blood last weekend, so I'm going to watch Rambo 2 tonight. I picked up, there's the Rambo 5 movie pack Blu-ray. It's like $10 or $12 or something like that on Amazon. I impulsively bought it, and now I'm just watching them all. Watch Pandora. I'm out of the loop on Pandora's Box. Actually, Mur's in the chat. He probably knows more about that than he has the stick. I haven't had a Pandora's Box in like 2 or 3 years. I don't even know what version they're on, and I've never played 3DS games on it, so I might be the wrong guy to ask that question to. Man, is that appropriate, Kabir? I don't. That sounds like it. That sounds like it might not be something that. Yeah, I'll just let that go. Yeah, I mean, First Blood is awesome. I mean, that's a movie that even holds up today. That's an amazing movie, really. It's pretty good. Good social message. Pandora 9. See, I wouldn't have even known. I had like a Pandora 5 or 6 or something like that. Wow. N64, Dreamcast, and Saturn on the Pandora 9. Jeez. I did not watch The Mandalorian tonight. That's funny you bring that up. I've checked out on The Mandalorian a little bit. Like, I liked last year. I thought last season was really good, and this year I'm just not feeling it. I don't know. It's just kind of, I wanted more of like a bigger story arc as opposed to just planet, people, task, planet, people, task. I don't know. I haven't been gripped this season the way I was last year. I'll watch it. I'll finish out the season, but I just haven't seen it tonight. Oh God, Dave, just hold it together. Phone a friend. You'll be all right. Well, I'd like to tell you that people aren't as big of assholes as they are portrayed in that movie, but current climate, I think some people have proven otherwise recently. We're not going to get into that tonight, though. I've not seen Sequence Break. No, I've not seen that. Yeah, I'll definitely watch Mandal. I mean, I'm this far into the season. I'm definitely finishing it out. I did finish Lovecraft Country last week. I watched Get Shorty, the series, not the movie. I watched. I think there's 3 seasons of that. I watched all of that. What was the? Man, I'm losing my mind. There's a series on HBO. Ridley Scott was a producer of. It's a sci-fi series. I finished that. That was pretty good. It was better than I thought it would be. See you, Soul Man. No, I've not seen Reckless Comedy. Lovecraft Country is it's different. I don't know that there's anything really. I've tried to compare it to. There's an episode that's very Indiana Jones like. It's True Blood. Kind of like, yeah, True Blood, Indiana Jones, and X-Files. Like, mash them all together. That's kind of what Lovecraft Country is. And then there's, of course, it's taking place, I think, in the late 40s. And so there's a lot of, the characters are dealing with a lot of racism and prejudice throughout the story, on top of a lot of sci-fi things that are going on and happening. So yeah, it's an interesting show. There's nothing, I don't know there's anything quite like it that I've seen before. It's a little busy. There's a lot that happens in an episode, and the story gets a little, but it's not a bad show. It's certainly interesting. Polybius knockoff. I have a Polybius t-shirt. So, well, I appreciate everybody that stopped by tonight. This is great. It was fun getting back on doing something and seeing everybody. Definitely be working on other videos. I hope you guys stick around and continue to watch and see things that you're hopefully that you're interested in on here. But I definitely appreciate everybody stopping by tonight. Oh, those Superman and Lois. I saw. So I knew nothing about that. I saw a picture today of I guess of the 2 actors that are going to be in that, and in the comments, people would just rip that picture apart, and I was like, oh, that looks cool. But I don't know anything about what the premise will be. I don't know anything about the actors. I don't know if it's a spin-off. I don't know anything about it, but I'd check it out. Yes, Lily, you did buy me the Polybius t-shirt. Devs is awesome. Devs is a really good. I would highly recommend that to anybody to watch. I thought Devs was great, and it's only like 5 or 6 episodes. Like, that's a great show. See you, YouTube. More videos with Lily. Yeah, we have to get her to film something here. Maybe we can make that happen this weekend. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna sign out. It was good seeing everybody. I really appreciate all the stuff that you guys do, and for supporting the channel. YouTube, I appreciate that, man. Beer on you. It's probably, I'll be honest with you, it probably won't be a beer. It'll probably be something like really bad for me at Chick-fil-A tomorrow. It'll be like an extra large fry, or maybe even like a milkshake if I'm in the mood. I appreciate it. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate YouTube. All right, guys. I hope you guys all have a great weekend. Thanks for stopping by, and I will catch you guys all next time.